What's going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to be discussing the best survivors to use and or start out with and level up first in Dead by Daylight. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you want to watch more videos in the future, be sure to subscribe. It would really help out the channel. Let's get into it.
Yeah. Die line with the boom pow. Every week now I switch to a new style. 212s in the back just blew out. Everything I do end up in the news now. Yeah. Lead a cloud with a
Alright, so now the first thing I want to do is talk about why it matters which character you use first and which one you level up first. Because it does. And the reason that it does matter which one you pick and which one you level up first is because after you hit level 30, 35, and 40 on a specific character, you'll begin to unlock their perks as teachable perks, which then means that you can use those perks for that specific character on the rest of your survivors as you level them up. The perks of your original survivor that you got to level 40 will appear in the blood web of the new survivor. So if you have one perk that you really like a lot and you get that character level 40, you'll be able to use that perk on a different character while also getting the other character's best perks as well. Alright, so first off, I am not high levels on any of these characters on this account because I recently switched from PlayStation to PC. So I'm just starting the game out again, which is why I actually thought this would be a great time to make this video, is for anyone else who needs to start out their account, because that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm going to be showing you guys the top survivors to use and level up first in Dead by Daylight. Now, number 2 and 3 are even for me, so really it's just the number 1 who I think you should use, and then 2 and 3 are pretty much the same for me. It just depends on what you're playing on. So Fang is, I'm pretty sure Fang is available for free on console, because I had Fang to start out, and the reason she is so good, and I'm going to put her at number 3 instead of number 2, just because on PC you have to buy her. I'm not going to do that. So, and obviously, you can get her with the shards, but it's going to take a lot of time to earn those. So this video is all based around starting out, right? So the reason that she is so good is because of this perk. After performing a rushed vault, break into a sprint at 150% of your normal running speed for a maximum of 3 seconds. So what this does is while you're being chased by the killer, if you vault through a window or over a pallet, for 3 seconds, you're going to run extremely fast, much faster than you normally would. So it helps a ton. You can escape the killer with this a lot of the time. It's very helpful. You will make a lot of escapes because of this perk. Now, the other two aren't really worth it. You're not going to use them on other characters. Alright, with my number 2/3 spot, I'm going to go with Claudette. And the reason for that is Claudette has a perk called Self-Care. This perk alone is the reason why she's ranked so highly for me as number 2/3, depending on if you're on console or PC. This perk allows you to heal yourself at any point when you're injured. If you get hit by the killer, you escape, you can just heal up by yourself without having any help from your teammates or a med kit, which is so helpful, especially if you're starting the game, because you are going to get hit by the killer. It's going to happen, and it's going to be harder to communicate, especially if you're starting out and you're not playing with other people who know the maps you're playing on extremely well or know the game very well. It's going to be hard to communicate where you are and have them find you to heal you. So if you're playing by yourself, which I'm sure a majority of us are, it's going to be pretty hard to have someone come and heal you. So having that perk will help you out a lot, which is why I have Claudette as 2 or 3, depending on if you have console or PC. Next up, we're going to have as my number 1. Well, as my number 1 for most people who want to just learn the game and survive as best they can, I'm going to go with Meg Thomas. Now, the reason I'm going with Meg Thomas is because she has a lot of very helpful perks on her. For her, she has multiple that you're going to use off the rip and with different characters. So, first up, Sprint Burst. So, Sprint Burst, as soon as you start running, you're going to break into a sprint at 150% of your normal run speed for a maximum of 3 seconds. As soon as you're crouch walking around or you're walking around and the killer spots you, and you have a good point where you hit him with a pallet or you just have a good gap to run away, as soon as you just start sprinting, for 3 seconds, you are going to sprint 150% of your speed. So this is super helpful for escaping killers, and when you're starting out, that's huge, because escaping killers is going to be hard. You're going to get hooked all the time. It's how it is. It's how you start out. So this is going to help you out a lot with that. Alright, as I'm editing this video, I also remembered another thing I want to tell you guys about Meg Thomas. When you're using her sprint burst, when you're using that as a perk, you aren't able to run around the map normally whenever you want, because you'll trigger the sprint burst. So you will have to just walk around or crouch around. You won't actually be able to sprint until you want to activate that sprint burst. And once you use the sprint burst, you have to wait for a 60-second cooldown before you can use it again. So that can get pretty annoying, and I want you guys to factor that in as you're picking who you want to use. Ooh, I don't even know. Alright, next I'm going to go with quick and quiet. It's because you do not make as much noise as others when quickly vaulting over obstacles or hiding in lockers. So yeah, the vault and hide actions, noise detection, and audio range is reduced by 100%. So you can vault and hide in lockers silently. So if you're running away from the killer, you can speed vault over window or a pallet, and they won't be able to hear you. So what you can do, and it'll help a lot, is you just vault over very fast, you turn the corner, and you can just crouch there, and the killer won't know where you went. They can't hear you, which is a huge advantage over other perks. And then we have Adrenaline. Adrenaline is a bit debatable whether it's worth using or not. Alright, so how this works is you will, as soon as the exit gates open, you're going to heal 1 health state and sprint at 150% of your normal running speed for 5 seconds. 5 seconds sprinting at 150% of your normal speed is a lot. You will notice it. It helps a ton. Now, to heal 1 health state, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, 1 health state doesn't really matter. If you're on full health, it's not going to do anything for you. Well, say you are the last survivor left. You're crawling around. You've already been hit. You're crawling. You can't run. You can't crouch while. Like, you're done. You're down for the count. You're crawling around with your hands. You're laying on your belly. You're done, waiting for the killer to come pick you up. Say the killer closes the trap door. Now what will happen is when the killer closes the trap door, that will open the exit gates. So after the exit gates are opened, you will be able to get up off the ground. That's 1 health state. You're down, you get up, and you're injured, but you're able to run around again. So for 5 seconds, you're going to be able to sprint at 150% of your speed and get up from the dying state. So that is super helpful. I think it's worth it. So honestly, all 3 of her starter perks you can use and will use for a while. That is why she's number 1 for me. Now, number 1 for surviving anyway. Now, next up is going to be my number 1, who I'm actually going to use first. But I didn't put him as number 1 because of the fact that the perk that is useful for me doesn't actually help you survive at all. It's simply for gaining blood points. And now, a lot of you will already know who it is. It's going to be David King. Now, David King has a perk called We're Gonna Live Forever. Every time you get a friend off the hook or take a hit to protect someone else, you're going to gain 25% bonus to all blood point gains, and it only goes up to 50%, but odds are you're going to help take a hit for someone, or you're going to get someone off the hook at least twice a game. What that means is after every game, you're going to get a 50% bonus to your blood points, and you need blood points to level up your characters. For starting out, if you're not strictly trying to survive every game, and you're worried about leveling up all your characters, this is going to help you out so much. 50% boost on every single game. It's going to take you half the time. Half the time to level up all the characters. So, and you'll see, once you're leveling up characters up to level 40, it takes a lot of blood points and a lot of time. And this will save you a lot of blood points and a lot of time. He has another perk also, Dead Hard. I still use it as one of my perks on everyone. Once you're injured, you can use Adrenaline, and you can dash forward, and while you're dashing, you will not get hit from the killer. So say you're running head on to the killer, and he swings at you. If you press the dash button at the right time, you can sprint right into him and right by him, and his hit won't hit you, and you can just keep running. That is who I am going to use, and that is who I personally would recommend to use. But like I said, if you're just starting out the game, you've never played it before, you're going to die to the killer a lot. You're going to get hooked, and it's going to happen. So for those people who are just starting out, don't know how to play, I would definitely recommend Meg Thomas because of the fact that she has 3 perks that are all super helpful to help you survive longer and get away from the killer and practice your escapes. That's who I would recommend for that. But if you're a little more experienced, you know what you're doing, and you're just trying to get blood points fast, that is when I would go with David King. Because of that 50% boost every single game, it adds up so fast. For everyone else, Meg Thomas, and then Claudette and or Fang Min. So It's up to you guys. I'm not going to include any gameplay or anything like that. I just wanted to get this out of the way because I know when I started playing the game, I looked it up and I couldn't find anywhere who were the best survivors to use. And a couple of the videos I did see, they had the best survivors to use in Dead by Daylight, and they listed about 5 or 6 characters. Like, that's everyone. So I want to give everyone literally up to, I think I have 4 included, but really it's between about 3 of them. So if this video helps you guys out in any way, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.